Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Hope your first weekend of spring was good. Let's see what we're dealing with this week. Today is 24th, so we could see that we have a moon sign in Capricorn. Capricorn's an earth sign. Our sun sign is in Aries, which is a fire sign. So fire is ideas. Capricorn earth is the practical use of those ideas or the form that's created. And the tarot card, the card of Capricorn, would be the card of the devil, which teaches us not that there is evil that exists in the world, but that when we look at the physical world, we are only seeing an illusion of what is truly available in the universe. That we have multiple elements, and if we just focus on one, then we don't really see what's behind it. So that's the reminder there. Capricorn is very good at persistence, continuing on, that endurance to get to the finish line. Capricorns are hardworking, good business minded, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we could see here that we have a square later this morning. This is a square between Capricorn and Uranus, which is unexpected changes. So something in our physical world might go through some sort of challenge that we have to deal with. This is a little couple hours from now, not too long. And there you go. That's what's going on there. Then, of course, Aries, our sun sign, which is the pioneering sign of the zodiac. Fire ideas. We look today to see where we're at. It says by 10 or 11 p.m. Mars and Spica are well up in the southeast. Look almost 2 fists and arms linked to the right for the 4-pattern star of Corvus, the crow. Normally the crow eyes Spica in Virgo's hand. Now maybe more interested in the brighter, shiny night close by. Okay, we don't have a picture for today yet, but we have the description. The moon phase, 44% of the way full, making its way down to the new moon. Mayan Oracle, we're at a new wave spell, the wave spell of the seed. The seed is, you plant a seed, and then it grows, and it becomes something. So the seed's the idea, the thing that we plant that grows. Okay, so that's the wave spell we're in. However, we're at the second day of that theme, and now we've planted the seed, and the life force, the serpent energy, is how we take that energy forward into the world. Okay. The 2 is the challenge. It means the 1 has split apart and now has to find its balancing point within itself. Its balancing point within the energy field that it is. The navigation, or the earth, is our guide for today. Hidden power is our ability to ask questions, to be that wise, intelligent warrior. Timelessness, our like-minded energy, and vision, our ability to catch that vision, is our challenge for today. The phrase is, I polarize in order to survive, stabilizing instinct. I seal the store of life force with the lunar tone of challenged. I am guided by the power of navigation. And as you will see here, we are almost at this period of time. Well, that starts tomorrow, where we're going to have 10 of these days in a row. Okay, these days right here. So tomorrow is our first one, and we got 10 intense days of those galactic activation portal days in a row. Over at Space Weather, our solar wind currently is at 439.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is between a 2 and a 2. Quiet, not a lot of coronal holes that we can see there. M class 45%, X class 5% geomagnetic storm activity. A little bit up from where it was last week. We got 30% severity in the high latitudes. And we do have notice from a solar flare. Glancing blow. The CME launch from sunspot AR 2014 on March 23rd is expected to deliver a glancing blow to the Earth's magnetic field on March 25th. That would be tomorrow. So that's why we have that increase in the storm going up. And last, we have our numerology for today, which is number 7. Let's take a look at how we arrived at that. Okay, we have the 3 for the month of March. We have the 24th. 2 plus 4 is 6. And the year, which is a 7. So 6 and 7 is 13, plus 3 is 16. 1 plus 6, and that equals a 7. So that's how we get our numerology for today. Let's look at what 7 is all about. 7 isn't just a lucky number. It's also spiritual, intellectual, analytical, focused, introspective, studious, intuitive, knowledgeable, contemplative, serious, persevering, refined, gracious. But they can also be distant, sarcastic, socially awkward, melancholic, cowardly, and when they're at their worst, backstabbers. Cancer and Chariot. Cancer tells us that the astrology is all about water, emotions. So Chariot here, this is our sign that represents Cancer. Chariot. What we have here, person in a suit of armor. The armor is protection from the emotions. The person in the armor is in a chariot, which is another vehicle that's a protection. All of these vehicles are vehicles for spirit, which resides in the person, the man. Man, because it's conscious mind, not because men are warriors, but because of the conscious mind. That when we consciously allow spirit to live within our being, we then are able to steer the chariot of life forward along the path. And all the riddles of the opposites of life, which is what the things represent, riddles of life, and then black and white, so the opposites. All the riddles and the opposites are all solved because you're allowing spirit to guide you along the path. That's what 7s are all about. So there you go. That's our starting point for today. UFO news is up next. I've got several good stories for you. So let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First story comes to us from Leroy Chiao. He's an astronaut who's announced that he had a UFO sighting while in space. Astronaut Leroy Chiao witnessed 5 UFOs during a spacewalk outside of the International Space Station back in 2005. The pioneering astronaut, who served as a commander of the ISS 9 years ago, finally speaks up at the UFO sighting that he experienced from October 24th to October 2005. Leroy Chiao stayed at the International Space Station to carry out a space mission. According to the Liberty Voice report, the astronaut took a stroll outside the ISS with Russian cosmonaut Salazan Sharipov to install the navigational antennas at 230 miles above the Earth and at 17,000 miles per hour speed. It was at that time when Leroy Chiao noticed that the lights flew by at a faster speed. I saw some lights that seemed to be in line with what was almost an upside down check mark. And then I saw them fly by and I thought it was awfully strange. He recounted to the Huffington Post. Okay, we have a little video that goes along with this, but you're going to be able to check that out yourself. It's a 2-minute long video. I'm moving on. Next story here goes back to 1958. UFO and military radar checked at 5,000 miles per hour. Something happened during USAF veteran Gary Flood's Cold War duty in Alaska, and it's been bugging the retired military air traffic controller radar operator for nearly half a century. As the years passed and turned to decades, he saw and read a lot of BS UFO stories, which got him to wrestling with his own piece of particular data. It was all ancient history, of course, but from his home in Birmingham, Michigan, Flood recalls I figured we got to make a record that would put it out there somewhere between this was a legitimate radar event and I would be considered a trained witness. So in 2005, the old ATC guy decided to post his first-hand account of the UFO evidence website where you can get the detailed account today. Scene setter. Early 1958. January, February. Eielson Air Force Base outside Fairbanks, home to nuclear weapons and state-of-the-art U-2 surveillance technology. Just months after the Soviet Union rattled the West with its successful launch of Sputnik. Sometime in the wee hours, 2 to 3 a.m., Flood was watching his scope when a target popped up and began logging speeds of 5,000 miles per hour, sometimes at right angles. NASA wasn't able to reach these velocities with an experiment plane until 2004, when the unmanned X-43A managed to hit Mach 7 before exploding off of California. With an assist from a C antenna radar, he was able to gauge its upper altitude at 55,000 feet and beyond. Alright, a lot more to the story. I'm leaving that to you to continue on. Now we're going to go to 1970. It was twilight and a warm Sunday evening. Mid-June 1970, East Aurora, New York. Patrick's mom and sister were fussing with something in the garage, but 11-year-old Patrick didn't care about that. He was blissfully involved with shooting baskets in the driveway before bedtime. He was dribbling back to the shooting position when he noticed an odd light coming toward him. His first impression was that it was just a low-flying airplane, maybe a helicopter. He thought to himself, it's no big deal. He shot another basket, retrieved the ball, and while returning to his position, he glanced to look at the bright object. That's when he realized that this thing wasn't making any sort of noise. This puzzled him. He kept watching the object as it slowly and silently flew over the tops of the neighborhood tall maple trees. Adult Patrick recounts to us that he sort of felt helpless. He just stood there and stared at the thing as it silently glanced over the treetops toward him. When the object got to within a football field's length of him, he was able to make it out that it was a cylindrical in shape, had yellowish color but not glowing. As the object hovered at treetop level, a mere few houses, he was able to make out a cockpit. That's when I saw them. He clearly saw two occupants silhouetted in the cockpit light. He tells us the being was right on, apparently standing up, arms spread, apparently standing at a control panel. Then he clearly remembers the other occupant was sitting down. As I could see in its shoulders and its head, he could make out that the beings had round heads and slim bodies. I'd been observing the thing for about 10 minutes when the object finally passed overhead. That's when he shuddered a call to his sister to come out, but before she could reach him, Patrick glanced back at the object just in time to see it climbing high into the night sky. Alright, very cool. Cool sighting there. Next, this is one of two stories about the Vatican today. One here in UFO news and one in the other news. Pope Francis is reducing the power of the Vatican, downsizing the bureaucracy, reshaping the department as one primarily involved in diplomacy. Yet this Pope and previous pontiffs feel that the issue of intelligent life in the universe is important enough to rate a 4-day conference currently going on in Arizona. The Church touches almost every country and nearly every aspect of human life. It is largely influential in a unique position to disclose the facts about alien life. The Vatican is not only the focal point of a vast spiritual and cultural community, it is the visual symbol of a living system of ideas and values. Any discussion of intelligent alien life in the universe would be taken very seriously, not only by its parishioners, but by every Christian on the planet. A list of attendees looks like a who's who from NASA, major universities, and the Vatican. Oddly enough, the conference is not open to the public, but NASA's Astrobiology Institute will broadcast a live feed of some of these sessions. Okay, and you can read more about it. There's a Vatican Observatory Conference that's going to be hosted in Arizona. Does it give the date? Let's see. I don't see a date here. So we will keep our eye on this for more information. Alright, good question here. UFOs, distinguishing real info from disinformation. This is a Nick Redfern article at UFO Digest. A recent article on how the UFO subject, and specifically the issue of alien bodies on ice, has been used as a tool for disinformation has provoked a lot of people to email, Twitter, and Facebook me on this theory. Controversial issue, and many of the same people seem to be missing the point. Hardly surprising, since disinformation is a murky mixture of fact and fiction. It's chiefly designed to confuse the targeted individual group, whether the Nazis during the Second World War, the Soviets at the height of the Cold War, or in today's world, maniacs who want to provoke terror. But to what extent has the UFO phenomena been used and manipulated to confuse both enemy targets and UFO research community? The answer is to a huge extent, and if you read my latest article on the very subject, you'll know it is focused on claims that in the mid-50s, the U.S. Air Force secretly commissioned the creation and manufacture of a number of very lifelike dead alien bodies. Supposedly they were used in a strange operation to A, try to smoke out Soviet agents and sympathizers in the United States, and B, to confuse the Russians regarding the true extent of U.S. knowledge of the UFO phenomenon. Indeed, convincing the high echelons of the Kremlin that the U.S. had acquired alien bodies and extraterrestrial technology might very well have been perceived as a great way to frighten and unsettle the Reds. When it comes to UFOs, things didn't start in '55. According to a technical report prepared by the Air Force UFO study program Project Grudge way back in August of '49. Upon eliminating several additional incidents due to the vagueness and duplication, there remain 228 incidents which are considered in this report. 30 of these could not be explained, and there was found to be insufficient evidence to which to base a conclusion. Certainly the most notable entry in the document appears in a recommendation section. It states, and I quote, that Psychological Warfare Division and other governmental agencies interested in psychological warfare be informed of the results of this studies. It's important to note that psychological warfare is an integral part of disinformation. Thus, we see a connection between disinformation, UFOs, and psychological warfare go back to the 40s. Okay, moving on, there's more to the article. Here we have NASA develops a spaceship to hunt alien planets with life. That's a very interesting looking ship that they're coming up with there. So here's a little rendition of it, calling it Star Shade. You see the animation right there. Pretty cool. How that might work and what it might. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Says that the thought that intelligent life from another planet could one day look into space and see what they consider a UFO that was made on Earth is certainly an ironic twist in the world of ufology. It'll be more and more plausible as man moves further into deep space exploration. Okay, now if we are able to do this, down here on Earth, just imagine what can be done out there in the universe. Okay, moving on. One last piece here. This is just a link I'm going to leave to you. It's a link to Hangar 1. This is crashes and cover-ups. This is a full version of it. Inside Hangar 1, MUFON Archives contains dozens of reports of UFO crashes, yet few of these incidents ever reach the public. In '76, a UFO crash along the Gulf of Mexico leads to a confrontation between the U.S. and Mexico with a deadly aftermath. In the 1800s, a small farm holds the public funeral for an extraterrestrial pilot of a crashed flying saucer. And in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, one man's search for the truth behind the '65 UFO crash may have led to his murder. Who is covering up evidence of UFO crashes, and how far will they go to keep you from knowing the truth? Well, you have to link here to the UFOs files, Hangar 1, where you can find out. Alright, that link will be available, firstcontactradio.com. That is UFO news. Let's jump ahead to the next section. Stay tuned. How about this to get us there?
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
Alright, let's continue on. First story, we're going to take a look at what's going on with Obama, because there is still activity and moving forward with the Obama case in regards to him not being who he says he is. Attorney Klayman responds to Alabama case will likely be taken to the U.S. Supreme Court. Basically, what this says is recently there was a case in Alabama, and of course the judges, they folded like they normally do. But this time it wasn't all of them. There was a couple who dissented. Last Friday was one of the few great judges in this land, Chief Justice Roy Moore of Alabama Supreme Court, the jurist who was first impeached for displaying the Ten Commandments in his courtroom and then overwhelmingly elected by the people of the state to be their Chief Justice, had the courage to write a compelling dissenting opinion validating our challenge to Obama's eligibility to be president, while 7 of his 9 fellow justices took the easy way out, perhaps to show that Alabama is no longer the state once governed by George Wallace, and rejected my ballot challenge. Chief Justice Moore, without political correctness and without the disingenuous and cowardly sensitivity to Obama's race, told it like it is. He ruled that Alabama did have the legal duty to verify that candidates for the presidency are eligible to serve as natural-born citizens if elected. Furthermore, I believe the Circuit Court should have granted the petition for writ of mandamus to order the Secretary of State to investigate the qualifications of those candidates who appeared in the 2012 general election ballot for President of the United States, a duty that existed at the time of this petition was filed and the object of the relief requested. Although the removal of a president-elect or a president who has taken the oath of office is within the breadth of Congress, the determination of the eligibility of the 2012 presidential candidates before casting its electoral votes is a state function. This matter is of great constitutional significance in regards to the highest office in our land. Should he who be elected to the president be determined to be ineligible, the remedy of impeachment is available throughout the United States. Congress and the plaintiffs in this case, McInnish and Good, can pursue this remedy through the representatives in Congress. All right, there's a lot more to the article. Basically, you could see they're having lots of challenges with this. Judges are folding. Again, we have coward judges in this country. Cowards. Fearful judges. You know why? Love of money. Okay, money can be a great tool, can be used to do a lot of things, but there are there are a lot of folks on this planet who love money so much that they are willing to allow their integrity to be swept under the rug in order for money. And that's what's happening. And as we get past this idea of this love of money, where we put it in its proper perspective, and we learn to have a love of humanity, love of humankind, over the love of money, we'll start making better choices. Now, there are many, many who do. It's unfortunately the ones in government, the ones in positions of power, that are the ones who love money more than the very people that they're working with. And that is a shameful thing. But hopefully, they'll wake up one by one, and it just takes one attorney. So we've got Chief Justice Roy Moore to start. Perhaps more will follow suit and realize the right thing to do is to tell the truth. Now, told you there was a second story on the Vatican. Here it is. Custom officials intercept shipment of cocaine on its way to the Vatican. Looks like they were about to have a party there, huh? German custom officials have intercepted a package addressed to the Vatican containing 14 condoms filled with cocaine. A government spokesman said a box packed with 340 grams of the drug, value at 40,000 pounds, was seized in January at the international airport in the eastern city of Leipzig. The cocaine, posted from an unnamed South American country, was in liquid form. It had been poured into the condoms placed in the package addressed to the main postal center at the Vatican. Authorities handed its parcel to the Vatican police officer with the aim of laying a trap, but the box was not claimed. German investigators believe the intended recipient, who remains unknown, was tipped off about the interception. The Vatican Office of Interpol is working on the investigation with the Leipzig prosecutor's office, which could not be reached for comment. Someone has some splaining to do. Cocaine. Hey, you got cocaine in the White House, they got cocaine in the Vatican. It seems to be the drug of choice for those who are the leaders. All right, we're going to throw our attention here to Flight 370. Haven't brought this up, really talked about it much, but here's a question. You're probably seeing a great amount of information, or let's just say gum flapping, on all the channels as all the talking heads of the mainstream media just keep telling you these stories that we're looking over here, we see something over here, now we're going to go there. Oh, now we're going to go over here. We have a satellite that can see the details of the head of a dime from 1,000,000 miles away, but we can't quite pick out what that is, so we're going to go over there. You know, it's a big smoke screen. What's going on? Well, you got interns working at all the mainstream stations, right? The interns should be able to go on and pull up information. I mean, we're hearing ridiculous information. Was it on CNN where the reporter actually said that perhaps that the airplane flew into a black hole? Okay. If the airplane flew into a black hole, that would mean that there's a black hole close enough here on Earth. And guess what else would be missing if it was the plane? That's right, the Earth, if the black hole was here. So we're hearing all these ridiculous, stupid things that the mainstream is saying all across the board. But here's a story that they seem to have missed. And this one might be one that we all need to pay attention to. Malaysian Flight 370 hijacked by U.S. Navy to protect suspicious cargo. Let me read that one more time. Malaysian Flight 370 hijacked by U.S. Navy to protect suspicious cargo. Dated the 15th of March, a new report circulating in the Kremlin prepared by the Russian main intelligence directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces states that the Aerospace Defense Forces experts remain puzzled as to why the United States Navy captured and then diverted a Malaysian Airlines civilian aircraft from its intended flight path to their vast and highly secretive Indian Ocean base located on the Diego Garcia Atoll. Interesting to note, the report says that Flight 370 was already under GRU surveillance after it received a highly suspicious cargo load that had been traced to the Indian Ocean National Republic of Seychelles, and where it had previously been aboard the U.S. flag container ship MV Maersk Alabama. When first aroused GRU suspicions regarding the MV Maersk Alabama, this report continues, was that within 24 hours of the offloading, the highly suspicious cargo load bound from Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 and two highly trained U.S. Navy SEALs assigned to protect it, Mark Daniel Kennedy, 43, and Jeffrey Keith, were found dead under suspicious circumstances. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for you, but just throw that in the mix as you're listening to all of the theories that are out there, as you're flipping through and you hear all the different channels talk about this. You can now ask yourself the question, why aren't any of them bringing up this article that our Navy, United States Navy, might have done this? So, Bill O'Reilly, Megan Fox, come on now, here's a story. You must have some interns over there that can find this article, because if I could find it, I'm guaranteeing they could find it. Or what about you, Rachel Maddow? You must have some people out there that look on the internet and find stories. Sure, you want to be fair and balanced, so maybe you should talk about this one. Or maybe you guys over at CNN. Wolf, how about you? You want to pick up this story? Cooper? Anderson? Come on now. So, anyway, here's the link. Here's the story. We'll see if they mention this. I'm guessing that they're not. All right. Now, where are we going here? What's this? All right, we're going to jump over here to this next story dealing with the NASA and the moon landing. The whole we never went to the moon theory. Well, here's a story that kind of ties right into that. NASA's ingenious moon simulator that helped prepare Apollo astronauts to land where no one has gone before. So how do you prepare to land a spacecraft on the surface of the moon that no one has ever gone to before? One answer to that question lay in the development of NASA's Orbit Lunar and Letdown Approach Simulator, LOLA, which at the time set back the space agency $2 million. The high-tech simulator was designed to represent a view an Apollo astronaut would see if they were looking down at the lunar surface just prior to establishing orbit of the moon. The pilot of the LOLA was sat atop a gantry, staring at a detailed visual encounter with the lunar surface. The machine was built to boast a cockpit, a closed-circuit television system, and 4 large murals of scale models which represent portions of the lunar surface as seen from various altitudes. This would-be astronaut in the cockpit simulator would have seen the cratered surface track past him on the revolving conveyor belt, which is supposed to accustom him to the visual clues as a pilot. Okay. Anyway, there's more to it. You can see pictures here. Blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. So basically, what we're saying is for all of these years, people have had the theories, researchers have had the theory that the moon landing was hoaxed, that it was filmed in a studio, or it was filmed in a way to show that we had gone when we really hadn't. Now it's being revealed that there actually was a simulator. I think it's getting closer and closer to the time when those who believe that the moon landing was not what they say it is might be validated. We seem to be getting closer and closer to realizing that it could have been faked, and perhaps they were right. All right, here's a video. I'm not gonna play any of this for you, but I'm gonna introduce it to you. This is a video of Edward Snowden, and this is Edward Snowden talking. There he is, right there. Edward Snowden appeared on this episode of TED, and he's here on this little robot. He's not there in person because obviously he's a wanted man for what he did. But he talks very intelligently about what we need to do, why he did what he did. It's a 35-minute presentation. I would encourage you to watch it if you really are interested in what Edward Snowden has to say. He talks about being an American citizen, seeing things being done, and realizing that he had two choices: turn a blind eye or to do something about it. He chose to do something about it. And though many think that his actions were not quite in line with what someone should do, there are many of others who feel he was a hero. I believe that he was on the side of doing the right thing. He was definitely standing up for the Americans, and it's unfortunate that there are still Americans who don't see that, who still think that their information needs to be put out there in the world and all this. So watch this video. I think you'll find it very informative, and there you have it. Okay, now I seem to have had a video here that I wanted to show you. Let me see if I can find where it went. Here we go. This is a pretty cool piece of information that was sent to me, and I put the link up on Facebook over the weekend, and now I'm passing this on to you because this says quiche documents released to public obtain quiche files and patents for free energy and anti-gravity. We have been informed by the Taiwanese Quiche Foundation Group, according to our request, that they have today released the full contents of the USB stick given name to the government of the world in 2012, which has been given name to them by their government. The content of the USB stick, which was released to the selected people around the world as per our wish today, first did it, could not be blocked by others. So, from today, the knowledge for production of free food, health systems, materials, energy, and motion is fully given name and delivered to the human race to love unconditionally as the gift to us from humanity. With hope to stop all wars and conflicts that have now had enough to create enough food, energy, and material to keep man healthy. So, if you go down here, bada bing, right there we got a link. Download this link. Click on this link. It will begin a download of a 1.3 gigabytes of information. It'll come in an ISO format, but you can use a WinZip or you can use WinRAR, and you can open up this file. Take this link, download it, share it with others, and let's see what this information is all about. A lot of information there. But if this is true, if this is all free energy information, anti-gravity, there's a lot of great stuff's been released to the world. All right, so check that out. Now, let's jump over here. You know, at the beginning of the show, everything is energy, right? Well, here's an article that talks to that exact thing. The world of quantum physics. Everything is energy. John Assaraf, Nobel Prize-winning physicists, have proven beyond a doubt that the physical world is one large sea of energy that flashes in and out in beams of seconds over and over again. This is the world of quantum physics that have given our thoughts to what are put together and hold together this ever-changing field of energy into the objects that we see. So why do we see person instead of flashing cluster of energy? Well, the movie is a collection of about 24 frames a second. Each frame is separated by a gap. However, because of the speed at which the frame replaces another, our eyes get cheated into thinking that we see a continuous and moving picture. The tube is simply a tube with heaps of electrons hitting the screen in a certain way, creating the illusion to form motion. This is what all objects are anyway. We have 5 physical senses: sight, sound, touch, smell, taste. Each one of these senses has a specific spectrum. For example, a dog hears in a different range of sound than humans do. Snakes sees in a different spectrum of light, and so on. In other words, you can set your senses, your set of senses perceive the sea of energy from a certain limited standpoint and make up an image of that. It's not complete, nor is it accurate. It's just an interpretation. All of our interpretations are solely based on the internal map of reality that we have, and not the real truth. Our map is a result of our personal life's collective experiences. Our thoughts are linked to this invisible energy, and they determine what energy forms. Your thoughts literally shift the universe on a particle-by-particle basis to create your physical life. Look around you. Everything you see in our physical world started as an idea. The idea that grew. An idea is fire. The idea that grew and was shared and expressed until it grew into a physical object, form. Through a number of steps, you literally become what you think about most. Your life becomes what you have imagined and believed in most. The world is literally your mirror, enabling you to experience in the physical plane what you hold as your truth until you change it. Quantum physics shows us that the world is not the hard and unchangeable thing it may appear to be. Instead, it is a very fluid place, continuously built up by using our individual and collective thoughts. What we think is true is really an illusion, almost like a magic trick. All right, and this is going to continue on here. To the article says body has no power to, let's see, the key with all this information is how you learn to see the universe differently than you do now, so that you can manifest everything that you truly desire. Okay, so good article. Read through the whole thing. I skimmed through some of it, but you get the point, right? I talk about that every single day. Everything is energy. And so since everything's energy, and we are beings that work with energy, we have the ability to affect this energy to create. And we use the fire, the water, the air, and we create the form, the earth. Ideas, love, action. Ideas, love, action, or words. Take, you got ideas, fire, wands, words, emotions, water, cups, love. We have air, swords. Take the first letter from swords away, you're left with words. And then you got earth. We have all this energy around us, but behind the energy we have spirit. So as we learn to channel this spirit into everything we're doing, and we learn to bring that energy forward into life, we manifest what it is we wish to manifest. It's that simple. We just need to practice over and over to make it happen, and when we do, we have great results. All right, and that brings us to our message for today. This is a message from Hilarion. Here we go.
Hilarion.
March 23rd to 30th, 2014.
Hilarion.
Beloved ones, more and more people on Earth are awakening to discover that the world is in a state of rapid metamorphosis. They look around and see their neighbors embracing concepts that they were not open to before. Everywhere, this awakening energy is clearing ages-old cobwebs from the consciousness of humanity, and it is not an easy process. It is very uncomfortable to watch the events taking place in the world and within one's own personal world, and each individual is struggling at this time to establish and maintain inner equilibrium. This creates a feeling of stress and tension in the collective consciousness energy field, which affects the individuals who are sensitive to the energy flows around them. This tension and anxiety is felt in the solar plexus stomach area of the human body and is a sign that it is time to get out in nature and stand or sit near a member of the tree family and ask that these tense and anxious feelings be lovingly transmuted and dissolved from within you. The tree family is extremely adept at providing this service to all of humanity, and it allows them to be in divine service and to work upon their own evolutionary path. It is very helpful to pay attention to all of the life forms that coexist around you, and all of the elements. During these unstable energetic shifts, it is best to make one's life as simple and uncomplicated as possible. By training your mind to go into a quiet state without getting involved in complex and abstract thought patterns that are constantly being stimulated by the communications one receives each day, and doing simple chores around one's home or yard, one can avoid the feeling of overwhelm which tends to drain a person of their life force and higher energies. Taking time out to relax often is also most important, and just laying down and putting your feet up for a half hour can replenish your vitality. Seek out beauty in all its wondrous forms and do so with passion in your heart. Watch the sun rise and set, the cloud formations, the stars in the night sky, the birds and insects, the flora and fauna. Life thrives and pulses around you, but you must become the observer of this and gain the sublime gifts that it brings you. You must take times of stillness to realign with your higher self and your inner guidance. Practice deep breathing each day to fill you to the root chakra, holding the breath for a moment and then expel the breath, knowing that all stale energy is being released. Moving your body many times a day in stretching activities or walking also helps to move the energies through your meridians without becoming stagnant and creating blockages. Clean out your closets, your cupboards, your garage and other areas of your home and remove all that you no longer use, and you will find that by doing so, it creates a greater feeling of well-being within you, and this will help keep your energies flowing in a positive and constructive manner. Making room for the new, physically, energetically and symbolically, fills one's soul with spiritual renewal and rebirth. Until the Earth's core is activated and sustained by the great light from the cosmos on a stronger level, you as divine energy conduits must continue to anchor and ground your light into the Earth on a daily basis. This activity, done several times a day by each of you, helps more than you can know, to keep the Earth's energies in greater stability. In effect, you are giving the Earth the boost of spiritual energy that she most needs. Your love sustains this magnificent being as she transitions from lower density into the higher, more rarefied levels of light and consciousness. In turn, you are finding that your every need is provided for. As and when you need it, and as this becomes more noticeable, you will be filled with the knowing that you are loved beyond measure. How quickly the world will move into the new paradigm when the energy of divine love intensifies in its frequency level. When each person is in a state of joy and bliss, it will be very difficult to convince them of the old stories that have been told throughout the ages. When each member within the human family feels good within themselves, then this will be reflected back to them, and great strides will be taken as the Earth moves into the new dawn of the Golden Age, where there are no limits to the positive possibilities and potentials that can unfold. Until next week, I am Hilarion.
Alright, good message. As always, again, all about energy. And it's nice, when you hear the message, it says how that we can affect the energy, and as we go through the day sharing this information or doing these meditations, well, what's really cool is go online and find out that there's lots of channeled meditations people are doing, guided meditations, prayers. So this allows there to be a 24/7 opportunity for information about this particular topic to be out there. Because at any given time, over a period of 24 hours a day, someone can go online and find a place where there's prayers for the universe, good vibes for the universe. So that's a really positive thing that we're doing. We just need to keep sharing with each other whatever information we have in this regard, because this is all to our benefit. All to our benefit. All right, let's jump over to our meditation for today. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And again, another deep breath. And imagine the energy traveling all the way down, reaching to that root chakra, filling your entire being. And exhale. And inhale again, deep breath. Let it fill your entire being. And as you exhale, just exhale out any stale energy that needs to go, so it can be recirculated. And inhale again, going in, allowing your breath to go through and pull out all the energy inside. Move it around and exhale. Let that energy recirculate into the universe. And inhale again, fresh, vibrant energy. Exhale out the energy that is needing to be recycled. And just allow yourself to continue on this process of breathing. And as you do, contemplate this affirmation for today. There is always something that I can work on in my life. There is always something that I can work on in my life. As we contemplate the ideas of the things that we can work on in our lives, we realize that we are constantly getting better. And as we focus on the things in our lives that we want to change, we're able to change those things because our focus of attention allows that to be. And as we look at life, we imagine seeing life not as a solid physical form, but as energy. Energy gathered together in different ways. Energy to form people. Energy to form places, things, food. Everything in life is energy. So as we imagine this energy, and we imagine that we are able to focus this energy to create what we want, we get stronger and stronger at that ability. So imagine in your mind's eye what it is you wish to create. And imagine that it to be the way you wish it to be. Imagine now sending positive energy to it and just allowing that idea to exist, knowing that absolute success is available to it. Let's send love into the world, love and light, just send it around the planet. Let that love and that light absorb down into the planet, strengthening the planet, anchoring these qualities of positivity down deep into the core, and extending all the way outward into the cosmos. Let's imagine all around the planet spaceships, time ships from all around the cosmos. And let's imagine our space brothers and sisters up on there. We may not know exactly their names or how they all look, but let's just imagine. And let's imagine sending love to them right now. Love and thankfulness for being here to assist us with this part of the journey. And let's just imagine this glowing light shining bright from the planet, glowing with love. And let's imagine a green halo around the planet, green of the heart chakra. And let's just go into the world today, imagining love, and imagining that we send love in to energize all situations. Not love that's looking for anything, but love that is unconditional. Alright. I'll let your subconscious mind continue on that journey of love, and let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. 2, coming back to the present moment fully confident of who you are and what it is you want to do. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. Thank you very much once again for being here. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the week. And just go out there. Send out love. Send out energy. Just imagine the difference you make in the world as you do that. And just imagine as it's multiplied by all those who are doing that. We can make a difference, my friends. All we have to do is make an effort to make a difference. And I know we're doing it, so good stuff up ahead. I'll be back tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Peace. I'm out of here.